Humanity's journey into space started with big dreams. We saw those old videos of the first moon landing, and it felt like anything was possible. But the reality of space wasn't what we expected. The galaxy was already full of powerful, ancient civilizations. They didn't see us as equals, they saw us as newcomers who didn't really belong. The Xal'Reth were the worst. They were a huge, powerful empire, and they thought they were better than everyone else. They had these massive, intimidating warships, and they acted like bullies. They treated us like we were just in their way. Other alien races weren't as openly hostile, but they weren't exactly friendly either. They mostly ignored us, or looked down on us. They thought we were just lucky to have figured out how to travel through space. We learned pretty quickly that space wasn't going to be a friendly place. The Xal'Reth especially liked to push us around. They'd fly their warships into our territory, just to show us they could. They'd take over our mining outposts, claiming they owned them, even when they didn't. They made it hard for us to trade, and they blocked us from getting important resources. One time, they just straight up kicked our miners off an outpost we built. They took all their equipment and left them with nothing. Stuff like that happened a lot. We started to feel like we were being treated like dirt. But we didn't give up. We're humans, and we're stubborn. We're good at figuring things out, even when things are tough. We started building our own technology, our own spaceships, our own defenses. We had to make do with what we could find, and we got good at fixing things and making them better. Our space stations weren't as fancy as the Xal'Reth's, but they were practical. We built them so we could add on to them, and change them as needed. We built our own power plants, and we started mining asteroids for the materials we needed. One of our biggest strengths was that we're all different. We come from all over Earth, and we have different cultures and backgrounds. That made us creative and adaptable. We could look at problems from different angles and come up with new solutions. Our military, the Terran Defense Force, was made up of people from all over the world. We weren't as big or as well equipped as the Xal'Reth, but we were tough and we were smart. We were good at fighting smart, using tactics to make up for our lack of firepower. As time went on, the Xal'Reth got bolder. They started taking over more of our colonies. They put unfair taxes on our goods, hurting our economy. They even started kidnapping our scientists, forcing them to work for them. People were getting really angry. The government started talking about fighting back. Some people wanted to give in to the Xal'Reth, because they were scared. But others said we had to stand up for ourselves. The breaking point was when the Xal'Reth demanded we give them Proxima Station. That station was really important to us, because it controlled access to important trade routes. They basically told us, "Give it to us, or we'll destroy you." Our government decided to fight. We sent a message back to the Xal'Reth, telling them we weren't giving up. That was a big moment. We were finally saying, enough is enough. We knew we were facing a huge, powerful enemy. But we were ready to fight. We had nothing to lose, and we were determined to make our own place in the galaxy. We were about to show them what humans are made of. Humanity was backed into a corner. The Xal'Reth's aggression was escalating, and conventional military strength was simply not enough. The Terran Defense Force, though brave and resourceful, couldn't match the sheer numbers and firepower of the Xal'Reth Armada. It was clear that a revolutionary solution was needed, something that could level the playing field, a technological ace in the hole. In the shadows of classified research labs and hidden deep space facilities, a team of brilliant scientists and engineers worked tirelessly on a project that had been whispered about for years: Project Event Horizon. It was a long shot, a gamble, a concept that pushed the boundaries of known physics and ventured into the realm of theoretical possibilities. At the heart of Project Event Horizon was Dr. Elara Lin, a brilliant physicist with a reputation for unconventional thinking and a relentless drive. She was a visionary, a risk-taker, someone who wasn't afraid to challenge established scientific dogma. Dr. Lin believed that humanity's salvation lay not in building bigger guns, but in mastering the very fabric of reality. She gathered a team of equally dedicated individuals, a diverse group of physicists, engineers, and mathematicians, each with their own unique expertise. They worked in secrecy, their research funded by a clandestine network of government agencies and private benefactors, their efforts shielded from the prying eyes of the Xal'Reth and other galactic powers. Dr. Lin's team was a microcosm of humanity's diversity, reflecting the global collaboration that had always been a hallmark of human progress. They were driven not by personal ambition, but by a shared belief in humanity's potential and a burning desire to protect their species from extinction. The core concept behind Project Event Horizon was to go beyond conventional faster-than-light travel, which typically involved warping spacetime to create shortcuts. Dr. Lin's team theorized that it was possible to manipulate the very fabric of reality itself, to bend the laws of physics to their advantage. They explored radical concepts like quantum entanglement, dimensional manipulation, and the manipulation of fundamental forces. They delved into the mysteries of the multiverse, speculating on the possibility of accessing alternate realities and exploiting the inherent instability of the quantum realm. The Event Horizon Drive, as it was eventually named, was designed to create a localized distortion in spacetime, not just to travel faster, but to create a temporary, phase shift that would allow the ship to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. The development of the Event Horizon Drive was a grueling process, fraught with challenges and setbacks. The theoretical concepts were complex, and the practical applications were even more daunting. The team faced numerous technical hurdles, from the design of the drive's core components to the development of the complex algorithms needed to control the phase shift. They conducted countless simulations, testing their theories in virtual environments, but the results were often unpredictable and unstable. They built prototypes, but the devices frequently malfunctioned, emitting bursts of energy that threatened to tear apart the fabric of spacetime. There were moments of despair, when the team questioned whether their efforts were futile, whether they were chasing a pipe dream. But Dr. Lin refused to give up. She inspired her team with her unwavering belief in their potential, reminding them that the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. After years of relentless effort, the team finally achieved a breakthrough. They discovered a way to stabilize the phase shift, to control the chaotic energies unleashed by the Event Horizon Drive. They developed a sophisticated system of sensors and processors that could monitor and adjust the drive's parameters in real time, preventing catastrophic failures. The first successful test of the Event Horizon Drive was a moment of triumph, a culmination of years of hard work and sacrifice. The Argonaut, a specially designed warship, was fitted with the prototype drive and sent on a test flight. The ship vanished from its original location, only to reappear moments later, seemingly unscathed. The data from the test flight confirmed the team's theories. The Event Horizon Drive worked. It could create a phase shift, allowing the ship to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. Humanity had found its technological ace. The Argonaut was more than just a testbed for the Event Horizon Drive. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity, a testament to their ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. It was a secret weapon, a technological marvel that could turn the tide of the war against the Xal'Reth. The ship was designed with a modular architecture, allowing it to be easily upgraded and adapted to changing mission requirements. It was equipped with the latest human weaponry, including advanced energy weapons and defensive systems. But its true power lay in the Event Horizon Drive, which gave it an unprecedented level of tactical flexibility. The Argonaut's crew was handpicked, a team of highly skilled and experienced officers and enlisted personnel. They were the best of the best, the elite of the Terran Defense Force, chosen for their intelligence, their courage, and their unwavering loyalty. The construction of the Argonaut and the development of the Event Horizon Drive took place in a hidden shipyard, located deep within the rings of Neptune. The shipyard was a marvel of human engineering, a massive complex of orbital platforms, construction docks, and research labs. It was heavily guarded, protected by a network of sensors, drones, and warships. Its location was known only to a select few, a closely guarded secret that was essential to the success of Project Event Horizon. The shipyard was a testament to humanity's ability to adapt and innovate, to create advanced technologies in the face of overwhelming odds. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in the darkness of the Xal'Reth's aggression. The development of the Event Horizon Drive raised profound ethical questions. It was a weapon of unprecedented power, capable of altering the very fabric of reality. Its potential for destruction was immense, and its use could have unforeseen consequences. Dr. Lin and her team grappled with these ethical dilemmas, debating the risks and benefits of their creation. They recognized the potential for misuse, the possibility that the technology could fall into the wrong hands. But they also recognized the desperate need for a weapon that could protect humanity from the Xal'Reth. They believed that the survival of their species was paramount, and that the risks of inaction outweighed the risks of action. The decision to deploy the Argonaut and use the Event Horizon Drive was a gamble, a desperate bet for humanity's future. It was a calculated risk, a strategic move designed to exploit the Xal'Reth's arrogance and overconfidence. The Terran government knew that the Xal'Reth would underestimate them, that they would dismiss the Argonaut as a mere curiosity, a primitive human warship. They knew that the Xal'Reth would not expect humanity to possess such a powerful and unconventional weapon. The plan was to lure the Xal'Reth fleet into a trap, to unleash the Event Horizon Drive and demonstrate its devastating power. It was a high-stakes gamble, but it was humanity's only chance to turn the tide of the war. The crew of the Argonaut knew the risks. They understood the gravity of their mission, the weight of responsibility that rested on their shoulders. They were about to venture into the unknown, to test a technology that could alter the very fabric of reality. But they were not afraid. They were driven by a sense of duty, a belief in their mission, and a deep love for their species. They were ready to face the challenges ahead, to make the ultimate sacrifice if necessary. They were humanity's last hope, the vanguard of a new era, the pioneers of a technological revolution that would forever change the course of galactic history. They were ready to show the galaxy what humans are capable of. The tension in human-controlled space was thick, a palpable dread hanging in the air. The Xal'Reth fleet was on the move, a vast armada of obsidian warships, their intent clear, to crush any resistance and seize Proxima Station. This station, a hub of commerce and strategic importance, was now the focal point of the looming conflict, a symbol of humanity's defiance. Proxima Station itself was a sprawling complex, a testament to human ingenuity. It was a network of interconnected modules, housing everything from docking bays and repair facilities to residential areas and research labs. Its defenses, while substantial by human standards, were dwarfed by the sheer might of the approaching Xal'Reth fleet. The people living and working on Proxima, civilians and military personnel alike, were gripped by a mixture of fear and determination. They knew the odds were stacked against them, but they were resolved to defend their home. High Warlord Xal'Reth, the commander of the Xal'Reth fleet, was a figure of immense power and ruthless ambition. He was a product of the Xal'Reth's rigid, hierarchical society, a warrior bred for conquest and domination. He viewed humanity with utter contempt, dismissing them as a primitive species unworthy of serious consideration. He saw the impending attack on Proxima Station as a mere formality, a simple exercise in crushing the resistance of a lesser species. His flagship, the unyielding Blade, was a behemoth of a warship, a symbol of Xal'Reth might. Its bridge was a hive of activity, with officers and technicians monitoring sensor readings and relaying tactical information. Xal'Reth, seated in his command chair, exuded an air of arrogant confidence. He was certain that the humans would crumble before his overwhelming force. The Xal'Reth fleet advanced in a precise formation, their warships bristling with weapons. Their sensors scanned the surrounding space, detecting the faint energy signatures of Proxima Station's defenses. Xal'Reth's second-in-command reported the detection of a single Terran vessel approaching. Xal'Reth scoffed, dismissing it as a token gesture of defiance. He ordered the vessel to be hailed, eager to hear the humans' inevitable plea for mercy. On the bridge of the Argonaut, Captain Renegade remained calm and focused. She was a seasoned officer, a veteran of numerous engagements against the Xal'Reth. She understood the gravity of the situation, but she also knew the potential of the ship she commanded. The Argonaut, with its revolutionary Event Horizon Drive, was humanity's ace in the hole, a weapon that could turn the tide of the war. Lieutenant Sam Cho, the ship's communications officer, relayed the Xal'Reth's hail. Captain Cade responded, her voice firm and unwavering. She demanded that the Xal'Reth withdraw immediately, warning them that they were trespassing in Terran space. The Xal'Reth bridge erupted in laughter. Xathrax, amused by the humans' audacity, offered them a chance to surrender. Captain Cade, her expression turning predatory, asked Xathrax if he was aware of the Argonauts' capabilities. Xathrax, intrigued, ordered his sensor officer to scan the Terran vessel. The sensor officer's report was puzzling. The Argonaut appeared to be a standard human warship, with no unusual energy signatures. Xathrax, perplexed but still confident, dismissed the human's threat as empty bravado. The Terran government, after careful deliberation, had decided to use the Argonaut as bait, to lure the Xal'Reth fleet into a trap. They knew that the Xal'Reth would underestimate the Argonaut, dismissing it as a lone, insignificant vessel. They also knew that the Xal'Reth would be eager to seize Proxima Station, a vital strategic asset. The plan was to allow the Xal'Reth fleet to approach Proxima Station, to draw them into a vulnerable position. Then, the Argonaut would activate its Event Horizon drive, unleashing its devastating power. It was a risky strategy, but it was humanity's best chance to inflict a decisive blow against the Xal'Reth. The crew of the Argonaut was fully aware of the risks involved. They knew that they were facing overwhelming odds, that they were essentially a lone ship against a massive fleet. But they were also confident in their abilities and in the power of the Event Horizon drive. They were determined to carry out their mission, to protect Proxima Station and to defend humanity. As the Xal'Reth fleet closed in on Proxima Station, the tension on the bridge of the Argonaut reached a fever pitch. Captain Cade gave the order to prepare for activation. Lieutenant Cho and Major Eli Trent, the tactical officer, confirmed that all systems were optimal. The Event Horizon drive was fully charged and ready to go. The people on Proxima Station watched the approaching Xal'Reth fleet with a mixture of fear and defiance. They knew that they were about to face a brutal assault, but they were determined to resist. They manned their defensive turrets, prepared their fighter squadrons, and braced for impact. They were ready to fight for their home, for their freedom, for their survival. Xathrax, observing the human defenses, scoffed at their feeble attempts to resist. He was convinced that the Xal'Reth fleet would overwhelm Proxima Station in a matter of minutes. He was eager to claim another victory, to further solidify his reputation as a ruthless and unstoppable warlord. The Argonaut, positioned between the Xal'Reth fleet and Proxima Station, was the last line of defense. Captain Cade, her eyes fixed on the approaching enemy, gave the final order. The countdown began. The crew held their breath, their hearts pounding in their chests. They were about to unleash a weapon that could change the course of galactic history. The Xal'Reth fleet, unaware of the impending danger, continued its advance. They were confident in their superiority, certain of their victory. They were about to learn a harsh lesson, to discover the true meaning of human resilience and ingenuity. They were about to face the wrath of a species they had underestimated for too long. The trap was set. The bait was taken. Now, it was time to spring the trap, to unleash the power of the Event Horizon drive, and to show the Xal'Reth what humans were truly capable of. The fate of Proxima Station, and perhaps the fate of humanity itself, hung in the balance. The Argonaut, a lone sentinel against the encroaching Xal'Reth armada, was poised to unleash its secret weapon. Captain Cade, her gaze locked on the enemy fleet, gave the final command. Activate the Event Horizon drive. Execute phase shift. A low hum resonated through the ship, a subtle vibration that signaled the initiation of a process that defied conventional physics. The space around the Argonaut began to shimmer, a distortion rippling outwards like heat haze on a summer day. To the Xal'Reth sensors, the ship's energy signature fluctuated wildly, then seemed to multiply. What had been a single, relatively insignificant blip on their screens was now a chaotic array of phantom echoes, appearing and disappearing at random. On the bridge of the unyielding blade, High Warlord Xathrax watched in stunned disbelief as his sensor officer's face contorted in confusion. Warlord, readings are incoherent. The Terran vessel, it's multiplying. The officer's voice was laced with a growing sense of panic. Xal'Reth, his arrogant confidence shaken, barked orders, demanding clarity. "Explain! What is happening?" But the sensor officer could offer no explanation. The readings were nonsensical, a jumbled mess of energy signatures that defied all known physics. The Argonaut, in its state of phase shift, was no longer bound by the limitations of a single reality. It existed in multiple overlapping dimensions, its form flickering between them, appearing and disappearing at random. To the Xal'Reth, it was as though the ship had fractured, creating a multitude of ghostly duplicates. These phantom ships were not mere illusions. They were tangible manifestations of the Argonaut's presence in alternate realities. They could interact with the physical world, firing weapons, manipulating systems, and even occupying the same space as the Xal'Reth warships. The first volley of energy beams from the Argonauts struck the Xal'Reth fleet with devastating effect. The beams, originating from the ship's phase-shifted state, bypassed the enemy's shields entirely, striking directly at the vulnerable hulls of the warships. Explosions erupted across the Xal'Reth formation, ships erupting in fiery blossoms of destruction. Panic spread through the Xal'Reth fleet. Their weapons systems locked onto the phantom ships, firing wildly into the void, but their energy beams passed harmlessly through the flickering forms. Their shields, designed to deflect conventional energy weapons, were useless against the phase-shifted attacks. The Argonauts' attacks were not limited to energy beams. The ship's phase-shifted state allowed it to manipulate the very fabric of reality within the Xal'Reth warships. It could create localized distortions, tearing apart internal systems, disrupting power grids, and even causing structural failures. One Xal'Reth cruiser, the Indomitable, was suddenly racked by internal explosions. Its power core, normally shielded by layers of protective armor, was destabilized by a phase-shifted manipulation, causing a chain reaction that ripped the ship apart from within. Another warship, the Relentless, found its weapons systems malfunctioning. Its energy beams misfired, striking its own hull, causing catastrophic damage. Its shield generators sputtered and died, leaving it vulnerable to the Argonauts' attacks. The Xal'Reth crew members, witnessing these impossible events, were gripped by terror. They had no frame of reference for what they were experiencing. They had never encountered a weapon that could manipulate reality itself. They were facing an enemy that defied their understanding of the universe. Xal'Reth, his face contorted in a mask of rage and disbelief, roared orders, demanding his fleet to retaliate. "Target the Terran vessel! Use all weapons! Destroy it!" But his orders were futile. The Argonaut was no longer a single target. It was a phantom, a ghost, a weapon that existed beyond the grasp of conventional warfare. The Xal'Reth fleet, once a symbol of overwhelming power, was now a chaotic mess of burning wreckage and malfunctioning warships. Their formations were shattered, their command structure in disarray. They were fighting an enemy they could not see, an enemy that could strike from any direction, an enemy that could manipulate the very fabric of their reality. The Argonaut, moving through its phase-shifted state, was like a predator among its prey. It moved with an ethereal grace, appearing and disappearing, striking with precision, and vanishing before any retaliation could be mounted. Its attacks were surgical, targeting critical systems, disabling defenses, and maximizing damage. The psychological impact of the Event Horizon drive was devastating. The Xal'Reth soldiers, accustomed to overwhelming force and predictable tactics, were now facing an enemy that defied all logic. They were witnessing events that their minds could not comprehend, events that challenged their fundamental understanding of reality. Their fear turned to panic, their panic to chaos. They abandoned their posts, fleeing in terror, their cries echoing through the corridors of their crippled warships. They were no longer soldiers. They were victims, overwhelmed by a force they could not understand, a force they could not resist. The bridge of the unyielding blade was a scene of pandemonium. Xal'Reth, his face flushed with rage, watched helplessly as his fleet was systematically destroyed. His arrogance had blinded him to the true potential of humanity. He had underestimated their ingenuity, their resilience, their ability to adapt and innovate. He had believed that his overwhelming force would crush any resistance, that his fleet would be unstoppable. He had failed to recognize that humanity, when pushed to the brink, would unleash a weapon that could shatter the very foundations of his empire. Captain Cade, observing the chaos unfolding on the Xal'Reth bridge, felt a sense of grim satisfaction. The Event Horizon drive had exceeded all expectations. It had proven to be a weapon of unparalleled power, a weapon that could turn the tide of the war. She knew that the battle was far from over. The Xal'Reth fleet, though crippled and demoralized, still possessed significant firepower. But she also knew that the balance of power had shifted. Humanity had found its voice, its strength, its ability to defend itself. The Argonaut continued its relentless assault, its phase-shifted attacks tearing through the remaining Xal'Reth warships. The space around Proxima Station was now a graveyard of shattered hulls and burning debris. The once mighty Xal'Reth fleet was reduced to a collection of crippled remnants. The people on Proxima Station, witnessing the destruction of the Xal'Reth fleet, were filled with a sense of awe and relief. They had watched as the enemy, once so formidable, was systematically dismantled by the Argonaut's impossible technology. They had witnessed the dawn of a new era, an era where humanity was no longer a victim, but a force to be reckoned with. The Xal'Reth, once the undisputed masters of the galaxy, were now facing the consequences of their arrogance. They had underestimated humanity, they had dismissed their potential, and they had paid a terrible price. They were about to learn that humanity, when pushed to the edge, would fight back with a ferocity that could shake the very foundations of their empire. The chaos that had engulfed the Xal'Reth fleet was a spectacle of utter destruction, a testament to the devastating power of the Event Horizon drive. Once a formidable armada, the fleet was now a collection of crippled warships, their hulls scarred by energy blasts, their internal systems in disarray. The air crackled with the echoes of explosions, the debris of shattered vessels drifting through the void. Xathrax, his eyes wide with a mixture of rage and disbelief, stared at the holographic display, the once pristine image of his fleet now a chaotic mess of flickering icons and warning signals. "Impossible," he whispered, the word barely audible above the din of alarms and panicked voices. This cannot be." His second-in-command, a seasoned officer who had witnessed countless battles, stood beside him, his face pale and drawn. "Warlord," he stammered, "the fleet, it's breaking apart. Our weapons are useless, our shields are failing. We can't even target the Terran ship. It's like fighting a ghost." The Argonaut, still operating in its phase-shifted state, continued its relentless assault. It moved through the Xal'Reth formation like a phantom, appearing and disappearing at will, its energy beams slicing through hulls, its phase-shifted manipulations tearing apart internal systems. The Xal'Reth crew members, their minds reeling from the impossible sights they were witnessing, were gripped by a terror that transcended fear. They were facing an enemy that defied all logic, a weapon that shattered their understanding of reality. On the bridge of the Argonaut, Captain Cade watched the unfolding destruction with a cool, detached efficiency. Her crew, their faces illuminated by the flickering displays, worked with a practiced precision, monitoring the ship's systems, adjusting the phase shift, and targeting the remaining Xal'Reth warships. There was no sense of triumph, no hint of gloating. They were simply executing their mission, carrying out their orders with a focused determination. The Xal'Reth warships, their once imposing forms now scarred and broken, attempted to rally, to form a defensive perimeter, but their efforts were futile. Their weapons locked onto phantom targets, their energy beams passing harmlessly through the Argonaut's phase-shifted form. Their shields, designed to deflect conventional attacks, were useless against the ship's reality-bending manipulations. One Xal'Reth destroyer, the Vengeance, attempted to ram the Argonaut, its massive hull bearing down on the smaller vessel. But the Argonaut, in its phase-shifted state, simply flickered out of existence, reappearing moments later behind the destroyer, its energy beams tearing through the ship's engines. Another warship, the Retribution, launched a volley of missiles, hoping to overwhelm the Argonaut with sheer numbers. But the missiles, unable to lock onto the ship's fluctuating energy signature, veered off course, exploding harmlessly in the void. The psychological impact of the Event Horizon drive was devastating. The Xal'Reth soldiers, accustomed to overwhelming force and predictable tactics, were now facing an enemy that defied all their expectations. They were witnessing events that their minds could not comprehend, events that challenged their fundamental understanding of the universe. Their fear turned to panic, their panic to chaos. They abandoned their posts, fleeing in terror, their cries echoing through the corridors of their crippled warships. They were no longer soldiers. They were victims, overwhelmed by a force they could not understand, a force they could not resist. Xal'Reth, his face contorted in a mask of rage and despair, watched as his fleet, his pride, his very reason for being, was systematically destroyed. He had believed that his overwhelming force would crush any resistance, that his fleet would be unstoppable. He had failed to recognize the true potential of humanity, their ingenuity, their resilience, their ability to adapt and innovate. He had underestimated them, dismissed them as a primitive species, unworthy of serious consideration. He had paid a terrible price for his arrogance, for his hubris. On Proxima Station, the people watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of awe and relief. They had witnessed the destruction of the Xal'Reth fleet, the seemingly invincible armada that had threatened their very existence. They had seen the power of the Argonaut, the lone Terran warship that had turned the tide of the war. They had witnessed the dawn of a new era, an era where humanity was no longer a victim, but a force to be reckoned with. They had seen the true potential of their species, their ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, their capacity for innovation and resilience. Captain Cade, her voice calm and measured, issued a command to Lieutenant Cho. "Signal the survivors. Tell them the war is over before it even began." Lieutenant Cho, his fingers flying across the console, sent a message to the remaining Xal'Reth warships. The message was simple, direct, and unambiguous: surrender or face annihilation. The remaining Xal'Reth warships, their crews demoralized and their vessels crippled, had no choice but to comply. They powered down their weapons, lowered their shields, and transmitted their surrender. The once proud Xal'Reth fleet, the symbol of galactic dominance, was now a collection of defeated vessels, their crews awaiting the inevitable consequences of their defeat. Xal'Reth, his face etched with defeat, stared at the holographic display, the image of his shattered fleet a stark reminder of his failure. He had lost everything: his fleet, his reputation, his pride. He had underestimated humanity, and he had paid the ultimate price. The battle was over. The Xal'Reth fleet, once a symbol of overwhelming power, was now a collection of crippled remnants. The Argonaut, the lone Terran warship, had achieved the impossible, turning the tide of the war with its revolutionary technology. Captain Cade leaned back in her chair, her gaze drifting towards the debris field that had once been the Xal'Reth fleet. "Looks like the galaxy won't be laughing at humanity anymore," she said, her voice laced with a quiet satisfaction. The victory was decisive, the message clear. Humanity had proven its resilience, its ingenuity, its ability to defend itself against overwhelming odds. The Xal'Reth, once the undisputed masters of the galaxy, had been humbled, their arrogance shattered, their power diminished. The people of Proxima Station, and indeed all of humanity, celebrated the victory, their cheers echoing through the space stations and colonies. They had faced the threat of annihilation, and they had emerged victorious, their spirit unbroken, their determination strengthened. The Xal'Reth, their once proud empire shaken to its core, were forced to confront the reality of their defeat. They had underestimated humanity, and they had paid a terrible price. They were about to learn that humanity, when pushed to the edge, would fight back with a ferocity that could shake the very foundations of their empire. The silence that followed the destruction of the Xal'Reth fleet was profound, a stark contrast to the cacophony of battle that had raged moments before. Debris drifted through the void, the remnants of once imposing warships now mere metallic husks. The air, or rather the vacuum of space, was thick with the lingering scent of ionized particles and the faint, metallic tang of destruction. On the bridge of the Argonaut, the atmosphere was a mix of relief and quiet satisfaction. The crew, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the console displays, monitored the sensor readings, ensuring that no hidden threats remained. The silence was a welcome reprieve after the intense concentration and adrenaline-fueled action of the battle. Captain Cade, her gaze fixed on the holographic display, watched as the remaining Xal'Reth warships, their hulls scarred and their systems crippled, transmitted their surrender. The message, relayed through Lieutenant Cho, was concise and unambiguous. "We surrender. We await your instructions." The victory was decisive, the message clear. Humanity had proven its resilience, its ingenuity, its ability to defend itself against overwhelming odds. The Xal'Reth, once the undisputed masters of the galaxy, had been humbled, their arrogance shattered, their power diminished. Back on Earth, the news of the victory spread like wildfire. Holographic news feeds flashed across screens, broadcasting images of the destroyed Xal'Reth warships and the triumphant Argonaut. The people, who had held their breath in anticipation of the Xal'Reth assault, erupted in jubilant celebration. Terran cities, normally bustling with activity, were transformed into impromptu street parties. Fireworks illuminated the night sky, their bursts of light and color mirroring the explosions that had rocked the Xal'Reth fleet. Cheers echoed through the streets, a collective expression of relief, pride, and newfound confidence. In the corridors of the Terran Defense Station, high above Earth, Commander Jack Voss sat in his office, his gaze fixed on the holographic display. The images of the destroyed Xal'Reth warships flickered across the screen, a stark reminder of the battle that had just concluded. He picked up a data pad, his fingers scrolling through the messages that had flooded his inbox. One message, in particular, caught his attention. It was from the Xal'Reth, a formal communication transmitted through secure channels. The message was brief, devoid of the usual threats and insults. It contained only 2 words. "We surrender." A rare smile spread across Voss's face. "Took them long enough," he muttered, a hint of wry amusement in his voice. He had spent years dealing with the Xal'Reth's arrogance and aggression, their constant attempts to intimidate and subjugate humanity. Now, the tables had turned. The victory at Proxima Station was more than just a military triumph, it was a turning point in galactic history. The old empires, who had long viewed humanity as a primitive and insignificant species, were now forced to reconsider their assumptions. The balance of power had shifted, and humanity had emerged as a force to be reckoned with. The Xal'Reth, their once proud empire shaken to its core, were forced to confront the reality of their defeat. They had underestimated humanity, dismissed their potential, and paid a terrible price. They were now facing the consequences of their arrogance, their hubris. The other galactic powers, the Ethel, the Korvash, and the countless other species that populated the galaxy, watched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They had witnessed the destruction of the Xal'Reth fleet, the seemingly invincible armada that had dominated the galactic stage for centuries. They had seen the power of the Event Horizon Drive, a weapon that defied all conventional understanding of physics. They were now forced to acknowledge humanity's newfound strength, their ability to innovate and adapt, their capacity for resilience and determination. They were forced to recognize that humanity was no longer a species to be ignored, but a force to be reckoned with. The Terran government, emboldened by the victory, began to assert its influence on the galactic stage. They demanded a seat at the table, a voice in the decisions that shaped the future of the galaxy. They called for an end to the old order, a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. The Xal'Reth, their empire weakened and their reputation tarnished, were forced to accept the new reality. They agreed to a ceasefire, to a withdrawal from Terran space, and to negotiations for a formal peace treaty. They were no longer in a position to dictate terms, they were now forced to negotiate as equals. The negotiations were long and arduous, but the outcome was clear. The Xal'Reth were forced to relinquish their claims to human territories, to pay reparations for the damages they had caused, and to agree to a system of fair and equitable trade. The victory at Proxima Station had not only secured humanity's survival, it had also transformed their place in the galaxy. They were no longer the underdogs, the victims, the species to be ignored. They were now a power in their own right, a force that could shape the future of the galaxy. Commander Voss, reflecting on the events of the past few days, felt a sense of profound satisfaction. He had witnessed humanity's transformation, their journey from a species on the brink of extinction to a force that could challenge the mightiest empires. He had seen the power of human ingenuity, the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering determination to survive. He knew that the challenges ahead would be significant. The galaxy was a complex and dangerous place, filled with ancient rivalries and hidden agendas. But he also knew that humanity was ready to face those challenges, to carve out its own destiny among the stars. The people of Earth, and the countless human colonies scattered across the galaxy, celebrated the victory, their cheers echoing through the space stations and settlements. They had faced the threat of annihilation, and they had emerged victorious, their spirit unbroken, their determination strengthened. They had witnessed the dawn of a new era, an era where humanity was no longer a victim, but a force to be reckoned with. They had seen the true potential of their species, their ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, their capacity for innovation and resilience. The Xal'Reth, their once proud empire shaken to its core, were forced to confront the reality of their defeat. They had underestimated humanity, and they had paid a terrible price. They were about to learn that humanity, when pushed to the edge, would fight back with a ferocity that could shake the very foundations of their empire. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed. And the future, once shrouded in uncertainty, now held the promise of a new era, an era where humanity would play a leading role in shaping the destiny of the stars. In the vast expanse of space, the Argonaut drifted silently, a beacon of hope against the backdrop of distant stars. The battle was over, the debris field a stark reminder of the Xal'Reth's defeat. The crew, their faces etched with a mix of exhaustion and quiet satisfaction, monitored the sensor readings, ensuring the area was clear. Captain Cade, her gaze fixed on the endless void, felt a sense of profound calm. The adrenaline of the battle had subsided, replaced by a quiet contemplation of the events that had transpired. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, proving its resilience and ingenuity. The victory at Proxima Station was more than just a military triumph, it was a watershed moment in humanity's history. The old order, where ancient empires dictated the fate of younger species, had been shattered. Humanity had stepped out of the shadow of the old empires, no longer dismissed, no longer underestimated. The Argonaut, with its revolutionary Event Horizon drive, had become a symbol of humanity's newfound strength. It was a testament to their ability to innovate, to push the boundaries of science, to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. The technology, once a desperate gamble, was now a powerful tool, a symbol of humanity's potential. The crew of the Argonaut, their mission accomplished, began the long journey back to Earth. They carried with them not only the data from the battle, but also the weight of history, the knowledge that they had played a pivotal role in shaping humanity's destiny. Back on Earth, the celebrations continued, a wave of jubilation sweeping across the planet. The victory at Proxima Station had ignited a sense of national pride, a renewed belief in humanity's potential. The people, who had lived under the shadow of the Xal'Reth's aggression, now looked to the future with hope and optimism. The Terran government, emboldened by the victory, began to assert its influence on the galactic stage. They initiated diplomatic overtures to other species, seeking to establish alliances and forge new partnerships. They called for a new era of cooperation, a galaxy where all species could coexist in peace and prosperity. The Xal'Reth, their empire weakened and their reputation tarnished, were forced to accept the new reality. They entered into negotiations with the Terran government, seeking to establish a lasting peace. They were no longer in a position to dictate terms, they were now forced to negotiate as equals. The negotiations were long and complex, but the outcome was clear. The Xal'Reth were forced to relinquish their claims to human territories, to pay reparations for the damages they had caused, and to agree to a system of fair and equitable trade. They were forced to acknowledge humanity's newfound strength and to respect their sovereignty. The other galactic powers, the Ethel, the Korvash, and the countless other species that populated the galaxy, watched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They had witnessed the destruction of the Xal'Reth fleet, the seemingly invincible armada that had dominated the galactic stage for centuries. They had seen the power of the Event Horizon Drive, a weapon that defied all conventional understanding of physics. They were now forced to acknowledge humanity's newfound strength, their ability to innovate and adapt, their capacity for resilience and determination. They were forced to recognize that humanity was no longer a species to be ignored, but a force to be reckoned with. Humanity, once a fledgling species struggling to survive in a hostile galaxy, had now become a major player on the galactic stage. They had proven their worth, their ability to overcome adversity, their potential to shape the future. The Event Horizon Drive, once a desperate gamble, was now a symbol of humanity's technological prowess. It was a testament to their ingenuity, their ability to push the boundaries of science. The technology was carefully controlled, used for defense and exploration. The moral debates surrounding its use were ongoing, with many arguing for strict control and others advocating for its potential benefits. The victory at Proxima Station had not only secured humanity's survival, it had also transformed their place in the galaxy. They were no longer the underdogs, the victims, the species to be ignored. They were now a power in their own right, a force that could shape the future of the galaxy. Captain Cade, reflecting on the events of the past few days, felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. She had witnessed humanity's transformation, their journey from a species on the brink of extinction to a force that could challenge the mightiest empires. She had seen the power of human ingenuity, the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering determination to survive. She knew that the challenges ahead would be significant. The galaxy was a complex and dangerous place, filled with ancient rivalries and hidden agendas. But she also knew that humanity was ready to face those challenges, to carve out its own destiny among the stars. The people of Earth, and the countless human colonies scattered across the galaxy, celebrated the victory, their cheers echoing through the space stations and settlements. They had faced the threat of annihilation, and they had emerged victorious, their spirit unbroken, their determination strengthened. They had witnessed the dawn of a new era, an era where humanity was no longer a victim, but a force to be reckoned with. They had seen the true potential of their species, their ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, their capacity for innovation and resilience. The Xal'Reth, their once proud empire shaken to its core, were forced to confront the reality of their defeat. They had underestimated humanity, and they had paid a terrible price. They were about to learn that humanity, when pushed to the edge, would fight back with a ferocity that could shake the very foundations of their empire. Humanity had stepped into a new chapter, one where they were no longer just participants in the galaxy, but a force to be reckoned with. The war was over, but something told Captain K this was only the beginning. The stars beckoned, filled with endless possibilities, and humanity, armed with their ingenuity and their unwavering spirit, was ready to explore them. The future was theirs to shape.